Most of us, maybe all of us, have this somewhere deep inside ourselves. There's a kind of contorted relationship with life. Disappointment, frustration, sadness, anger. I can feel all of it. Confusion. Like, why does life do things like that? Why does life behave this way? Why do things like this happen to me? And you can be a very positive person, a very successful person, have a lot going on that's really good in your life. And somewhere lurking underneath are these thoughts, or these feelings, or there's this some kind of relationship with life that doesn't feel whole. And so there's just a question here. How do we heal that? How do we allow ourselves to really come, if you like, face to face with life? Of course, we're a part of life. It's very difficult to be face to face with yourself. That's a very weird expression that I'm using. It feels right. It feels like the way in which we just need to calm down, let go of the spinning stories, and experience it for what it is. Then you discover, in many ways, you discover that there's so much and there's so little. It's so simple. It's so ordinary. It's just you here, maybe some other people. There's this kind of life. What is it? It's a word we throw around as though we know what it means. The minute you start to feel into it, like, what does it mean? It's very, very difficult to find any kind of meaning for it. So it seems to be an invitation just to be present to it. Stop for a while trying to make so much meaning. Stop for a while trying to control it all through the stories that we tell ourselves. Just here. And there's a relationship in there where you feel very small, like a tiny part of this very big life. In another way, you feel part of all of it, connected with all of it. Talk about oneness. So all these words, life, oneness, energy, we throw around all the time. It's like, oh yeah, we all know what that means. Every single person has a completely different experience of it, a different meaning. So this is just coming back to that very simple part of this experience. Most of it totally mysterious. All of it totally mysterious, really. You can have a sense of here. What does that mean? Do you know really? What does it mean? I'm here, I'm alive. What does that mean? Difficult to know even what it means. Who am I? What does that mean? Difficult really to know what that means. Difficult to know who you are. What is life? What does that mean? Does it really mean anything? And when you start to ask questions like that, you come back to this very simple sense of just being. Letting go of all the mental spin. Being present, being alive. What you notice is the parts of you that maybe you feel sometimes are rather cut off, are actually very alive. Well, maybe you'll notice that all around you, just as alive as you are. You notice that you don't actually really have an edge. You really feel, sense into just yourself here now. Inner experience of being you. You have an edge. Is there an end of you and the beginning of everything else? So easy just to feel all the time, oh yeah, this is me. Where my boundary is, this is where the edge of me is. Maybe it's on your skin, or maybe you feel some field around you, or it's around what you will and will not allow in your life. You have mental boundaries or emotional boundaries. But really feel it. Is there an edge? I used to do this experiment where you have, what are they called? Those sticks, rods, dowsing rods, and you would walk up towards somebody to feel where the edge of their aura is. And when you touch the edge of their aura, the rods move. Is that the edge of somebody? Really feel it. Where is it? In a way, you just start to ask the simplest questions. Realize that none of the knowledge that we have even really makes much sense, if any. The most simple, fundamental question, who am I? What is life? What does it mean to be alive? They quickly become very meaningless. That doesn't, me at least, it doesn't leave me feeling bereft and lost and confused and what on earth is this all about? It actually just makes me feel more simple or grounded in a way. It's like, okay, that's it, simple. Ordinary, not in a, sometimes, often in my life, I used to say, I don't want to be ordinary. I had this absolute fear of being ordinary. I suspect that I know quite a lot of people who are like that. There's just one thing, I just don't want to be ordinary. And so we make ourselves special. Actually, there's great peace, simplicity, and ordinariness. Extraordinary things might happen, extraordinary to other people, or extraordinary compared to the leaves on that tree. You do might be extraordinary, pretty extraordinary compared to you too. Pretty extraordinary for you to be green and pointy like that, with all the things that go on inside those leaves. So these kinds of rather simple questions, sometimes we ask them and we answer them so it's all really obvious and easy. We know what life is, we know what energy is, we know what human beings are, we know what we're supposed to do. Actually, when you strip it all away, it's a very beautiful kind of not knowing. Really not knowing anything very much. And it feels good. It feels full. It allows the parts of you that you have tried to suppress and hide away from simply to be present. It allows the parts of you that you have tried to exaggerate turn into something more. Simply to be in place. It allows you to operate, to live, to be without any clutter. It allows you to live the mystery, to actually live really not knowing, not needing to know. It's not disabling, disempowering, very simplifying. And maybe you can feel letting go of all of that. There's a way in which everything finds its own balance in you. Because you're not working anymore to move things, shift things, change things, rebalance things. I'm not saying I'm not doing anything. I'm doing something now. I'm talking. That's what I need to do at the moment. And you're listening because that's what you need to do at the moment. Later, you might be doing something with the kids or doing some work or going for a walk or whatever it is. There's so many things that we do. If you can feel at the heart of it, this simplicity, it's really not knowing, not needing to know a lot. It's aliveness. It becomes stronger, the simpler you are, which feels weaker, the stories you tell. It's really interesting. It's like we mostly tell stories to stimulate ourselves into being more alive. And the stories get bigger and bigger, richer and richer, more and more abundant, more and more powerful, more and more exciting, more and more inspiring. Actually, right in the middle of it all, very simple. We're alive anyway. It's abundant anyway. It's rich anyway. It's inspiring anyway. You're a part of it anyway. It's all here anyway. You can settle into it. You can relax into it, not as a deep relaxation, not as a practice, not as a habit, because that's the only thing to do. It's inevitable when you feel this simplicity. Feel just you, alive. Do anything. So free. Don't really need anything. Life is available. It's fully available. There's such freedom in this really simple, really ordinary way of being. It's like, for me, it's like being very truthful. It's having this core truthfulness about life. It's humbling, Because you realize that however much you know as a human being, however much experience you have, however much brilliance you have, that is just kind of, it's like a little bit of froth. What you really are, and the froth, there's nothing wrong with the froth. That's the surface expression, if you like. What you really are, you're really experiencing so much mystery under the surface. And when you touch into that, you feel humility, you feel very simple place in life, very simple homeness, very simple freedom, very simple wholeness, grand wholeness, simple wholeness. There's nothing you really need, so you're free to be, free to express, free to move, free to change. Free, it's like you're freely available to life. Life is freely available to you. Because it's the big stories and the grand stories that we weave around ourselves that make us not feel free. And we have to live the story. I'm watching people living a story. They're not free. Feel free. Feel free to tell a different story. Feel free to be alive. Really live. Because they've created this world around them. They're living in the froth, without living in the mystery. Live in the mystery and still have the froth. Still, all the surface activity and excitement, like in the ocean, it's there. If you just had the foam, if you just had the peak of the wave, you wouldn't have the ocean. The ocean itself that gives the peak of the waves their expression. Really, the ocean of life, of human life, feels like it's as big in comparison to the froth as the ocean water is to the foam on its surface, the movement on its surface. So it's a contradiction to the human mind that when we allow ourselves to be in that mystery, the unknown, that instead of being scary, instead of being a limitation, removes the limitations, removes the need for self-justification, self-righteousness, and self-proving. It frees you for activity, not action, not creativity, not interaction, not so. This is simply being alive, just exploring a relationship with life in a very truthful way. Is it? Who are you? I don't know. You don't know. And being able to just be there. there for a while. See what happens.